Hi everyone, greetings of the day. My name is Tathagat and today I'm recording this video to demonstrate to you a project that I have made using generative AI. And basically the premise of the project is to create a cutting edge chatbot that is able to understand the context of a document uploaded and is able to answer questions based on that. So for this particular application, we are using LangChain, and the backend of the application is deployed on the Django app on the Django framework, and it is basically using LangChain embeddings, vector database, and the Hugging Faces open LLM models to basically generate a contextual answer to the question that we are asking the chatbot. So this is the basic premise. So I'll take you through the steps involved in this application, and then we'll move to the backend and the front end part, and then I'll demonstrate all the things that are present in the application at this particular time, right? So for let me share my screen first. So this is the design flow of the application. So basically what we are doing is we are taking the document, which is basically a PDF file from the user. And once we get that document, we are using PyPDF. There's a package called PyPDF that is converting or that is extracting the text out of the PDFs. Once that text is extracted, we are dividing that text into smaller chunks, and then those smaller chunks are embedded in the vector database. So basically for each chunk there is a spatial designation associated with it, and there the context is formed based on the distance between the chunks and the words, and the cosine angles between them, right? So that is how the vector database is able to understand what is the similarity between the question that is being asked and the context that is present in the uploaded document, right? So once this embedding is done, right? Once this embedding is done, then our long chain LLM comes into picture, wherein we sort of use long chain to hold a contextual meaning of the conversation that we are having, as well as have a sort of a memory for the previous conversation that we had for the chat, right? So once the embedding is done for the uploaded document, the document is then saved in the vector database, and then when you ask a question to the chatbot, that question also is again broken down into chunks, and then that also is embedded into the vector database, right? And then we sort of use similarity to see what is the similarity between the embeddings in the vector database and the embeddings of the question asked, right? And if the similarity is near about to 1, we can say that the answer has some context in the document that we have provided, right? And the chatbot will provide that particular answer, right? So basically, it is a sort of a contextual search, wherein we are not searching the word. We are basically searching the meaning of the word, or the overall perspective of that word in that document. So that is how it is working. And I have created a small diagram to showcase the same thing. Now, once we are clear, this is basically the backend aspect of the application. It is basically using the chat gpt model to sort of make a comprehensible sentence once we get the result from our embeddings and vector database, right? So basically what happens is once you upload, and your document is divided into chunks, and those chunks are embedded into vector database, and your question also is divided into chunks, and that also is uploaded in your vector database, right? Now when a question is asked from the chatbot again calls the similarity between embeddings of the context which is present from the document and the embeddings which is present in the question itself, right? And depending on how similar they are, so we use a similarity check function, and which depends on a numerical value, typically from 0 to 1. And depending, one is very similar, it is of the same context, and 0 is basically no context. So depending on that value, we are able to generate a response. right? And that response is sent back to the user. So and before this process, I'm giving this response to my Hugging Face LLM model. You can also give it to Chat GPT or an Open AI model as well, but I am using Hugging Face Open LLM model so that the result that I'm getting from my embeddings is comprehensible, and it's basically human readable format, right? So this is how the workflows goes in the backend. So backend is basically an endpoint, an API endpoint, and it's basically built on Django framework. So without further ado, let me show you the backend code. So this is the backend code of the application, as you can see, and these are the views that I have created. So these views basically they are the ones that send the JSON response once a URL or a route is hit. So let me take you to the URL endpoints that I have. I have URL endpoints for registering, logging, upload. There is an endpoint to show what are the list of PDFs uploaded, and to upload a single PDF, to ask a question from the PDF, to delete a PDF as well by the name. So basically, once I register a user, uh, he is prompted to then log in, and once you log in through the user.login route, you are provided a token that contains the user ID. This token I'm using to make relationship with the uh, PDF that the user is uploading, right? So that each PDF is associated with a user, and that could be called back in the event of need. So this is how this particular application flow is happening, and these are the models. Very simple model I've created wherein there is a username, password, and a PDF file or multiple PDF files uploaded. And these PDF files, the name and the details are stored in the database, as well as I'm saving the PDF file in my media/PDFs directory as well. So there's a physical copy of it stored as well. And let's delete this for our sake so that we have a clean PDF. And let's first run our backend. So let's run this backend. So I'm running the python manage.py runs our command to run the backend application. Now this backend application is running at this particular server, right? This particular localhost URL. So now let's move to our front end application. The front end is actually deployed on the Netlify as well. But for our use at this point, let's use the local host itself. So the front end is created on React, and the basic packages or basic libraries that I'm using is React, Redux, React Router DOM, Chakra UI, and apart from all of these, I have also used certain React basically icons, React icons and Chakra UI icons. But there is nothing else apart from that. I am using auth state, and I'm making a store that has auth reducer and chat reducer, that is able to hold all the details from the chat, user details, login, logout details, and is able to sort of do all the CRUD functionalities from here, right? So this is the application. So as soon as as soon as the application runs, it tries to go to the slash URL, which is basically the chat URL. But since it's a protected route, you are directed to the login page. So anybody who's not logged in is basically directed to login first, right? So for our sake, let's make a new account, and then after registering, let's sort of use that. So I have also given it a functionality to use dark or light mode. I prefer dark mode personally, so let's be using that. So let's make an account. Let's make an account on Batman at the rate gmail.com maybe, and the password is Robin, ROBIN. And as soon as I'll do a sign up, as soon as I do a registration, well, I'll also open the console for you so that you are able to understand this in a clearer fashion. So as soon as I do the registration, you will be directed towards the login page. So This is it, and you can see I also got a message from the backend server that the registration is successful. If you look at my backend server, there was a post request on user.register, so this registration is complete. And it also shows what sort of response was sent. It was 201, so basically it was successful, right? So let's now use this batman@gmail.com to log in. So once I do the sign in, I will be directed to the chat page of the application. So as soon as I do the sign in, I'm directed to the chat page of the application. And as you can see, the response I've received is with the token. This token is being saved. And over here, if you see, you can see that my login request has been successful. This request is from the use effect. It's basically trying to see if the user had earlier uploaded anything. But since we have just created this account, there's nothing to show in the uploaded PDFs part. So I'm closing this console now. Now this is the entire chat interface that we'll be seeing, and let's start uploading few of the documents. First thing is I have created error handling in this particular error handling and validation in this particular upload. So if you try to upload a file which is not selected, it will tell you to sort of select a file, right? You can select a file via two ways. You can either you can either click and choose a file. You can browse from your file system and choose a file, or you can directly drop it as well. So let's drop a file. Let's go to downloads. Let's pick a test file. I'll open the test file for you. So this is my test file. It's basically a resume of a friend of mine, a close colleague of mine, and I'll be using this particular resume to sort of run tests on this chat app. So let's drop this resume, or let's pick this resume normally itself. Let's pick this. Let's pick test. So I have selected this. Now, even after selecting, you have the option of deleting it. So if you don't want to select it, you can delete it from here as well. So once we have selected it, let's select one more and delete it. Let's make maybe this account statement and let's delete this. So this is deleted. It's not uploaded yet as well. So once you click on upload, that particular file is uploaded, and you can see it in the your uploaded PDF sidebar, wherein it shows what are the sidebars uploaded, right? Now, since the upload is done, we can ask question from the BAT regarding the upload. We can check our backend if the upload is successful. Yes, it is. This is the upload route that we have sent it to. It's a post route, and I'm sending it in the form of form data with PDF file being one of the key value pairs. So let's ask a question. What is the context of this document? So it's basically I'm asking what is this document about. So it as you guys, as I've shown, it's a resume of a friend of mine whose name is Ravindra. So it should tell me that this is a full stack developer's resume, and it is able to tell us that like context of this document appears to be a resume or portfolio of a full stack developer named Ravindra, right? And it tells about things that Ravindra has done. So let's ask, where does Ravindra live? So it should tell Jhunjhunu, Rajasthan as the place where he lives, right? So yes, right. So this is what the bot is telling, that he lives in Jhunjhunu, Rajasthan. Let's upload another file. Let's upload something entirely different. So let's pick maybe December 2021's or December 2022's. This is basically a sort of an account statement of mine. So I'm choosing this because it's really different. It's entirely different from the file that we have uploaded earlier. So there's like we can check the spectrum of differentiation it is able to do between the files, right? So let's upload this file as well. As soon as I upload this file, it is available here. Now let's ask whose account statement is uploaded, right? So it should be able to distinguish between different uploads that we have done, right? So it's not basically conjoining all the text and chunks together to form a large chunk. No, it should be able to keep the differentiation between different sort of uploads that have happened. So you can see it is telling that the account statement belongs to Mr. Thagat. That is basically me, right? Let's ask it something else. What is the balance at the end of the month? So if this particular information is available in the account statement that I've uploaded, it should be able to tell that. Is not provided in the given application. So this was not present actually. This is till 24th of December itself. So it is not there in by the end of the month. So it is able to understand the context of my questions. Now, if I ask it something that is entirely unrelated to both the documents that I have put, typically it should answer that it doesn't know that information. So let's ask what is Chandrayaan 3. So it should not be having any information about Chandrayaan 3. It's not there in the PDFs. So it should not be answering that. And this is what it tells that I don't have any information about Chandrayaan 3. So this is how this basically chat interface works. You can also delete PDFs from here, and it deletes the PDF not just from our database, it also deletes the physical copy that we are sending, right? So for example, let's delete this February 2022. So as soon as I delete this, I make a delete request. It's deleted from here, from my file storage as well, and from the applications database as well, right? So this particular file is removed for all intent and purposes, right? So this is how this application works, and this is how I've implemented it. And as I have said, I've implemented it using LangChain and FAISS data vector database, and using embeddings, and the front end is in React. The front end is actually deployed on Netlify. The back end is not deployed at this moment to any deployment site. One of the reasons is because I am getting an error that sort of asks me to make a payment for the deployment. I am looking at alternatives for that, and I am thinking of doing. I'm looking at alternatives that are available to me, and I'll be making an arrangement about that very soon. But for the time being, the application is running on the local servers, both the front end and the back end. Though front end is deployed on Netlify, and I have the link is available in the GitHub repo. So this is the GitHub repo that I have. The link is available here. But unfortunately, since the backend is entirely dependent on it's entirely dependent on the local server. So unless and until I'm running this server in my computer, then it will work, or else it will not work, right? So over here, if I go batman@gmail.com, Robin, it should actually sign in. It does sign in, but then this is because my local server is running here, right? So that is why it signed in. And if you could see when you sign in over here as well, you get the document that he uploaded. So if you sign in with another account, this particular document will not be available to that user, right? So, but and I think this is one of the reasons why it's difficult to sort of keep a track, because this physical document that I'm uploading in Django, there are certain limitations to how much documents you can keep and how the way you are storing them. So, and particularly if you're trying to deploy it via the railway or Versal. So Versal does not support SQLite database. So I am migrating this to SQL database. Right now, the application's database is SQLite, and I'm also saving the hard copy as well, as I've shown you. So all these things have to be taken into account. So I'm working on it. I'm also working on another couple of features to sort of pick basically an OCR feature wherein you can give an image and it would be able to pick out the text from that image and then carry out the chunks and embedding. That is one thing. And then I'm also thinking of adding a feature wherein you can add more types of files in it. So that way it would be it would be a completely holistic application. And that is why I call it PDF Baba, so that Baba is able to do anything. So that is how it is. And I hope you had a good time listening to me, and this was interesting to you as well, as it was an interesting thing for me to do. And I have completed this project, this entire Django and React and LangChain based project in a matter of 3 days, and the learning for this was about 5 days. So we this is the end project for my generative AI block, and I have utilized a lot of generative AI techniques, prompt engineering, chat GPT, uh, to sort of get a holistic view of how to develop an application and to do it in a very limited amount of time. So this typically would have taken me a lot more time than it did in this present scenario. But due to generative AI and prompt engineering, I was able to do it in a relatively very short amount of time. So I appreciate that a lot. So this would be all for today. And thank you for listening to me. And I hope you have a very pleasant day. Thank you. Thank you.